Hello, Guardians. Welcome to the Tower Casuals podcast, the Destiny podcast. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me for this journey is the Demon Sour Cream, Josh Finney.
How's it going, everyone? It's been a week.
Yeah, so before we actually start the show, we're going to address the big fat elephant in the room, and it's not me. Or Josh. It's
definitely not me.
You may notice that one of our hosts that we have previously done the show with is missing. And to put a professional spin on it before we don't put one on it, we have kind of cut professional ties with Carl for some actions that happened this weekend. It was not a fun weekend for either of us, and there are people. Look, at Boss Rush games, Josh is here helping me with the Destiny stuff, and I really appreciate Josh being here. This is my responsibility, as the co-founder of Boss Rush Games, co-founder of this podcast and the various things that we do, as the de facto leader. Ed calls me boss man and Jesse calls me boss man. I kind of feel like we're all equal here, but
boss man.
There you go. I feel it is my responsibility as kind of the leader of this team to address the situation. It's been a hard week trying to not only I don't know if damage control is the right word, but it's been a fight for our friends and teammates, and it's been a hard one. He is no longer with us because he was harassing our friend Ray Apollo, co-founder of Boss Rush Games and also an amazing content creator, one of Josh's best friends and someone that I consider a dear friend. And on top of that, sending some things to our community manager, who is also our wonderful mod in the chat. She's been with us for so long, and it's been kind of emotional. It's been anger, sadness, and it's been hard to kind of deal with this last couple weeks, couple days. But that's the gist of it. He will not be appearing here anymore. Most of you have probably noticed that all of our back catalog of episodes are gone. Some of the things that he was doing, we do not want to be associated with, and I apologize to everyone that was affected by this. It's my responsibility to vet people and, before we invite them on the shows and contribute and guest and do all these things. And I didn't do my due diligence to do that. And, to Ray this weekend, I really apologize. To Megan, I apologize. It was not something that was easy to do. The act was easy to do, but the actually having to do it and stand up for your friends is something that is not fun to do. And but we had to do it. It was it's something we had to do. So it's still emotional right now. I am so sorry to everyone that this affected. There were some, I'm sure people that follow us on Twitter know what happened. To be frank, to pull the lid off of it now, I guess he was very unprofessional to Ray, first off, and it was not cool. It was not professional. It is not something that you expect from someone who is on our team, and that is why he is no longer here. Calling someone, expecting favors is not part of this business. You know, it is not part of this hobby, this creating, whatever you do this for. You know, it is not part of this. You reach out to people, you make connections, you make friends. You know, if you can't jump the line and you can't lash out when you don't get your way. It's not how the world works. It's not how this industry works. And when I saw that, it really made me question even coming back to do any of this. Honestly, this is the second time in a year that I have questioned even doing this again. To be 100% honest, and you know, it took a lot for me to come back, but at the end of the day, Boss Rush is about being positive and being inclusive and being there for people when they need it. And you know, our motto is be better, play games, be better people, be better friends, help people if they need it. You know, be there, have your friends' backs, and you know, I can't apologize enough for what happened. So it was really hard, and I hope, you know, I do appreciate, Ray, your messages after we talked, and Megan, I appreciate your messages after we talked. So, and whoever else was affected by this, honestly, Josh, I know you had some interactions that were unpleasant as well. So I'm sorry to you too. I know it was kind of indirect, but it was still, yeah. I'm very sorry that this all happened.
Yeah, I if I can take the mic for a second.
Yeah.
I definitely want to just kind of back up what Corey said right there at the end about being better. We had this discussion 2 weeks ago on this very show about what did it mean to be better in the community, and that it doesn't just extend to people who are overtly sexually harassing in public or in chat or something. It extends to people who, you know, what are they doing when the light isn't being shown on them? What are they doing in, you know, in DMs and private chats and texts and phone calls, things like that. And it's not just about sexual harassment. I mean, at the end of the day, when we say be better, it kind of goes back to that thing we all learned in elementary school gym class of treat others the way you want to be treated. And if you're not gonna treat somebody with respect, how do you expect to gain respect in return? Like that's not going to cause somebody to respect you. That's not going to cause somebody to want to collaborate with you. And it goes beyond just, you're not going to talk that way to our team or to the people that work with us or who have contributed and collaborated with us. It goes to, you know, you're not going to, this community is not a place for that. Like if you want to talk that, you know, you've got some pent up anger issues or something, or you're frustrated about something. I mean, find a different outlet. Like don't lash out at people because you didn't get your way or because they didn't respond to you or something like that. Like that's something that teenagers do. That's something that, you know, 12, 13-year-old kids did. I used to do that when, you know, people didn't want to respond to my texts when I was 13. I took it real personally. I'm 28 now. I don't take it personally anymore. You know, we all have lives. We all have things that we do outside of this. This is very much a hobby for us. Like we do this because we enjoy doing it. We work in this community because we love doing it. And I hope that everyone listening to this understands that this community is a safe place. This is a place where we want you to come and you to feel appreciated, you to celebrate the things that make you you. You know, to share. We want you to share the content with us that you're making or that we make together. We want you to share your takes and your opinions. We want you to feel like you can talk openly and honestly. And I hate using the word family, and I think that's why I use community so much when it comes to an online group. But this is a community of people, and we're going to treat each other as equals here. Like Corey and I are no better than, you know, people who just are going to listen to this one episode and then never tune into us again. Like we're all equals here, and that's something I really want to stress to everyone. We're all equals rules. And if at any point, you feel uncomfortable, something's being done, like, please, for the love of God, please let us know. Like, we want to handle this. We want to address this. None of us is above accountability. None of us is above reproach.
Yeah.
Like, I know I have in the past, lashed out, justly or unjustly, in game chats or, in private messages and stuff. And that's not who I am as a person. Like, I want to take ownership of that. And I think that's a big part of it, is you have to be willing to recognize when you've made a mistake and grow with it.
Yeah.
And apologize and make amends, and not just double down and say, well, I stand by what I said. Like, no, like that's arrogance talking. That's not the character of somebody that we want to associate with and that we want to collaborate with. And that's not how me or Corey or Jesse or Ed, like, that's not, none of us want that. None of us we don't respect that approach. I feel like I can speak for everyone when I say, like, that's so far away from what this community stands for.
Yeah.
So I would just end it again. I'd just end my little piece by saying, guys, just be better. I mean, it's really kind of become, in the last month, not really the rallying cry of our community, but just something that I really feel like we're all trying to impress on everyone. Like, just be kind to one another, be compassionate, be understanding. Like, you never know what somebody is going through away from their Twitter profile or away from a podcast or a Twitch stream. Like, you never know what goes on off the internet.
Yeah.
All you know is what people choose to share with you. And, if they take you in the confidence and share other things, then you have to respect that. That's not an invitation for you to invite yourself in to try and become a bigger part of that person's life.
Yeah.
Or to try and strong arm your way in. Like, that's not what friendship is. That's not what the leader of a community does. That's not what somebody who wants to be respected does. It's just, that's not what you do. And so you guys just be better. Be better to each other. Be kinder. Be gentle. Be understanding. Be there for people. Like, if somebody tells you that they have a problem with something, like, listen. Like, always listen to other people.
Yeah.
Believe them, and take the appropriate steps that you have to.
Yeah. Before we kind of wrap this up and actually talk about some Destiny, because there's some exciting things happening in Destiny for sure. I just want to say, over to kind of wrap this back around, I used to be part of this group called Nerds Gone Rogue, and I'm actually, by the time this episode goes live on podcast services, my blog post will probably be up, kind of talking about experiencing negativity and that kind of thing. And the way things ended with that is something that I am not extremely proud of at all. People went their separate ways, and now we're at Boss Rush. And before we did anything, I did some personal soul searching, but I also did some talking with Ed and Jesse when we started this, and said, we have to be better. We have to be positive. We have to be inclusive. We have to be accepting. And if we're going to do anything with this, we all have to be on the same page with that. And we all have to be in this together and help people with whatever they need. We wanted to build a platform where people could feel safe and guest and share their stuff and make new friends. And over the last 8 months or so, like, we've grown a lot, not to like toot our own horn, but like, and it's because we've built a platform where people feel comfortable being at, and having a community that cares about each other and works together. And it's not a huge community, but it is a positive community. And I want to keep it that way. And if that means someone on our team has to go, that's that's what's going to happen. You know, if I'm ever made anybody feel uncomfortable or anything, I would want somebody to tell me. You know,
Right.
if there was ever something that anybody did, let me know, let us know. You know, it's we will fix it. You know, I feel like I was pretty prompt in fixing this situation, but also I can't apologize enough for the feelings that people are having. You know, it's I want people to know that I have your back. We have your back. We want to be encouraging and accepting. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole, especially to your friends and to your peers. Don't be an asshole. Don't be shitty. Okay? It's not a great look for anybody, you know, especially in this day and age where everybody is so divided already. We have to work better. We have to be better. We have to be better people. So, you know, just to wrap it up, if you are being harassed, either, you know, aggressively or sexually or, you know, anything, and you feel uncomfortable, if there is any sexual harassment or attempt at threatening you or anything, tell us right away, please. We will fix it. Any of us, me, Josh, Ed, Jesse, Celeste, we will fix it. Because this is not what this community is going to be. And I would rather lose, you know, 5,000 listeners to make our community better, if that's what it takes. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather cut the losses and just have a positive place for people to be.
I'd rather have a quality community of quality people than look at numbers.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, that's what this is about. This is about friendship and fellowship at the end of the day.
Yeah. Because we're not the biggest podcast in the world. Obviously, this is Destiny is our hobby. Video games are our hobby. We do this because we love talking about games and movies and other stuff with our friends. You know, if something happens one day, great, but that's not what this is about. And, you know, I kind of just want to end on that and just say, be better people, encourage people, be positive to people. So, but we're going to move on from this. You're going to hear a lot of this on the rest of our shows this week, I'm sure. And because we all have something to say, and
quite frankly, it's a conversation that we all need to have too.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I want to address again, we're having this conversation again because the last time we had this conversation, obviously some of it was not genuine enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't genuine at all, to be quite honest with you. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about Destiny now. This is Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast here on Boss Rush Games. You can find it on your podcast service every week. I think we are moving the shows to Thursdays on podcast services. We're still going to try to play around with some scheduling stuff because of certain things that are happening during the week now, during the seasons, and Josh and I are kind of talking about maybe moving the live shows to Thursdays because of the events that are happening and stuff. So we'll keep you posted on Twitter. Just follow at Boss Rush Podcasts. We'll figure it out. But yeah, you can find the show on your podcast service of choice: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you listen to the shows. You can also check it out on YouTube and bossrushgames.com. Josh, I want to talk to you a little bit about, before we get into the big happenings. I did my first dungeon this week.
You did the Pit of Heresy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for starters, did you do the Shattered Throne?
I did not.
You've never done the Shattered Throne?
No, this was the first dungeon
We're going to rectify it. We're going to rectify that. But okay, so with it being your first dungeon experience, what What did you kind of feel about the mechanics? Like they kind of just throw you into it to kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I ran through it with people who have run it before. So
okay.
Willow, who was on the show last week,
Yes.
and one of his teammates, Kate, we ran through it. It was really interesting, but I felt like learning the mechanics was easier because
Mm-hmm.
like I was telling you before we started recording, it feels like a mixture between Crota's End and King's Fall in a lot of parts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had an easier time picking up the mechanics because I had run those raids so many times during Destiny 1. And it was easier. It was easier than I originally planned it being because like it's an in-game activity. Those are usually harder than your normal nightfalls or strikes. I think finding the right rooms with the seals on them is that the way it changes every time is kind of a unique thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting each of those bosses in those rooms really teaches you how to fight that final boss too, which I thought was a really neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the secret room, we helped Kate find the secret exotic. Like she had an exotic quest to do, so we had to fight a secret boss. So that was
Oh,
fun.
so you fought the xenophage boss.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
that
you found my favorite part of the whole dungeon.
yeah,
Okay, that's awesome.
yeah. It was cool. I still need to get that quest. But I
Absolutely.
obviously I'm more than willing to do it again because I thought this was
Mhm.
the most fun I've had with Destiny since the Outbreak Perfected quest, which I still haven't completed, and it makes me upset.
Put it on the list of things that we're doing.
Yeah, so that was it was really cool to see kind of because like revisiting the moon and during the Shadowkeep campaign, you're like, yeah, this is cool, but I've kind of done most of this before. And
Yeah.
they added that little area in the back of the moon, obviously, with the just going into like the what did they call them? The man, my mind's all messed up right now.
You got the altars of sorrow back there, and you've
Yeah,
got
the altars of
the
sorrow.
Scarlet Keep.
Yeah, and so when you kind of go into you kind of go in through the Scarlet Keep, right? You jump down that hole in the back where that crystal was,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kind of the same thing as you do with the raid. You like get to this new area that's like totally different than the areas that you're visiting all the time, and it's always cool to see new areas for the first time. I remember seeing Leviathan for the first time, and I was like, man, this is so different than anything
Right.
that Destiny 2 has at that time.
Now, the feeling you're describing, having done the Pit of Heresy, is the same way that I felt when I did the Shattered Throne.
Yeah.
I remember when that went up, a buddy of mine and I attempted it. It wasn't the first weekend it was up because we weren't confident enough to go do it that first weekend. And that was back when you had to wait for the full cycle of the Dreaming City to happen. So we had to wait 3 weeks for it to go live again. But we marched right in and did it. And did the Wishender bow quest along with it. So we had to go do all sorts of secret stuff in the dungeon on our way through. Doing that made me go, this to me, this is what a raid layer should be. It's the way that Pit of Heresy, the Shattered Throne, Prophecy, like those are mini raids to me with with the mechanics that you learn. Like you take those mechanics and you can go in and do raids and having that knowledge, and vice versa. Like if you've done a raid, you're like, oh, okay, this is a less intensive version, but you've only got 3 people, so it feels just as frantic at times.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely felt
yeah,
frantic, especially when you like, because like I wasn't informed that you couldn't damage the bosses without the sword, and then but like I quickly knew because I was like, okay,
yeah.
well this is clearly a Crota reference. You need the sword to take him down,
Hmm.
and then the platforming puzzle that's after the room with the altar in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this altar.
Yeah.
Instead of standing on the altars on the ends and killing the ads in the middle, this is totally the opposite of what Kingsfall is. You have to stand on the altar in the middle and have the teammates kill the knights on the end.
Yeah, it's very well done. And I said this to you before we started recording. Of the 3 dungeons, it's kind of weird. Like I like Pit of Heresy so much, but it's also my least favorite dungeon. Like, even if you were to include, because I do consider Whisper and Outbreak, their missions respectively, to be, that's more in line of what I think a dungeon is. Even though those are timed, I still kind of feel like those have the same amount of depth. Like, there's still some puzzle solving in those, and obviously a great deal of jumping puzzles in both. But I think that Shattered Throne, The Pit of Heresy, and Prophecy really, really, really show what the sandbox and design teams can do when they've got the time to do it. The fact that we got 2 dungeons at all this year shocks me. I was not expecting to get another one. I thought they would just drop it in the fall.
Yeah.
But I kind of have the opinion now, like with them unvaulting stuff, like, oh, cool, are we going to get a raid in the fall? Maybe get because Prophecy is going to go away at the end of this season, and it won't be back until, it won't be back in the fall. It'll be back the following season, so around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Is when it'll come back, just because of how it was coded to originally be a seasonal event. And that's the right, to me, that's the right move, to be like, hey, we're going to have to take it out for like 12 weeks, but then we're going to bring it back, and you're still going to be able to earn the rewards, still going to be able to earn the guns from there, the 2 armor sets, etc. You got Vault of Glass coming back in the spring. We're going to get hit with another dungeon in, maybe late spring, early summer again. Like, if you could get this on a cycle of, you get a brand new raid in the fall, maybe you get a dungeon the season after, you get a reprised raid, you get another dungeon, like, just get on a cycle of doing those. Like, I think that would be so cool to see. Like, you've always got a new end game activity going, and that's what people have been asking for so long. Like, especially after Trials kind of came in with a whimper. Like, on consoles, okay, cool, like, you got to have the right guns, it's the meta, it's just like how Trials was in D1 to a large extent. On PC, it's completely and fundamentally broken. So something's got to change with Trials. Thank God we've got some more for the PvE endgame. Like, there's so many incentives to keep running that dungeon. You can get unlimited loot. It won't drop at powerful levels, but you can get the drops from the encounters multiple times a week. Like, there's no limit on it. Yeah. That, to me, is one of the best. You can get that dungeon done in 45, 50 minutes flat if you have people who know what they're doing. And that's the biggest change that they've made from Shattered Throne and Pit of Heresy that we were all screaming about. Like, there was stuff in Eververse that easily could have been rewards in Pit of Heresy. Ghost shells, ships, sparrows. Even if you just have like a 5% chance of getting one of those from the end boss, I would have sat there and run it every single week for the chance to get some of that loot.
Yeah.
With Prophecy, they've done that. Like,
yeah. That's awesome.
You get 2 armor sets. You get, even today, as part of the Moments of Triumph update, I'm sure we're going to get into that here pretty soon. They updated a couple of triumphs that were there for doing it solo, doing it flawless, and doing it solo flawless. There's now a ghost shell and a sparrow associated with a couple of those. And that, to me, that's really cool. That's awesome that, you go back and add it in. And retroactively, if you've already managed to do one of those, which kudos to you if you've done either of those.
Yeah.
You automatically will get those rewards, and that's cool because it's a sparrow that clearly looks like it belongs there. It's a ghost shell that clearly looks like it matches the Dido Foundry armor. This is awesome. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see. I'd rather see more in-game rewards like that I don't have a snowball's chance in hell at getting than be able to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
really glad you had a good experience though. I love the Pit of Heresy.
I did. It was awesome, and like the jumping puzzle in the with the swinging lanterns and stuff was really cool. And even the final boss fight, I was like,
Zulamak. Yeah, Zulamak is he's a beefy boy.
Yeah, it was a cool fight though. Like I really enjoyed the mechanics of the fight. I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of like when we were fighting the priest from King's Fall. That first boss,
it reminds me of the priest, and it also reminds me of the one of the strikes in there. You had to go into the prison, and it was the giant knight that was running around in the dark with you.
Yep.
I had PTSD flashbacks to that, quite frankly, because I don't know if you got the exotic swords in Taken King.
Yeah.
But having to go in and do that specific strike to get the exotic sword, it might be one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done in this game. Like, you don't know pain until you've tried to do that with every single person trying to get a different sword.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, boy. Yeah, man, now I'm just thinking about jumping down into that hole into the dark, and then you just... just
Yeah.
dodging out of the way to make sure the sword didn't come down on you because you couldn't see him.
I'm really excited to we'll have to break down the lore on the show here in a couple episodes now that you've gotten it done. There's some really cool lore behind both the encounter with Zulamak at the end and especially behind Xenophage.
Yeah.
That's some incredible storytelling through both of those quest lines. So
yeah, so that was a really cool experience last night. I actually got on to do Iron Banner because it was the last day of Iron Banner. I actually got all the Titan.
You did the better activity. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
I like Iron Banner a lot, but you definitely did the better activity.
See, I do too, but the Iron Banner armor kind of sucks this time around. To be honest, I don't know. I play Iron Banner for the gear, not to like be super competitive at it. So I got everything except for the helmet, but I'm like, I don't care. Helmet's a helmet, whatever. So, so I mean, I'm glad Willow and Kate kind of took me through. So that was cool.
For sure.
Thank you guys if you're listening to this. So, yeah. So that's kind of what I did in Destiny. Did you do anything cool in Destiny this week? Did you get all that Trials lore done?
I am 1 week away from finishing my Trials lore. So I am actually working on a write-up. I'm wanting to do it here in a couple of weeks because I believe you're going on vacation towards the end of this month. And we were talking about doing kind of a lore-heavy episode, and that's when I'd like to tackle that. That's going to take me a hot minute.
Cool.
Especially with the developments of the update today. But
side tangent.
Yeah,
by the way, do you have a WordPress account?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want one, looking for contributors. If you want to write something once in a while about Destiny.
Definitely. I do want to get back into writing, and some of these breakdowns are fascinatingly difficult to try and relate to. Okay, so we learned something like literally back in Destiny 1, and now it matters again. Like we learned about Europa, for example. I think I've already made this analogy on the show. We learned about Europa for the first time in House of Wolves.
See,
we're just now going there this fall. That's a problem.
To be fair, we learned about Europa on the second page of the Destiny art book the day that book came out, like 2 weeks after the game.
That's true. That's true. The first time we had it mentioned canonically in game.
Yeah. No,
I guess I should get at it.
I just remember flipping through the art book. I'm like, where's the snow at? We have not seen snow.
Right.
So
I actually conquered Prophecy for the first time this week.
Ooh.
I did it last Tuesday. I did it Tuesday night. A buddy of mine wanted to run it for his birthday. He went in completely blind, hadn't looked at any videos or read anything. We had it finished in about 45 minutes flat. I got that sweet Aikilo shoddy out of it.
Oh, did you? I want that so bad.
I got the drop from the final boss chest. I don't remember what the first perk is, but I did get Vorpal Weapon on it, which I'm super stoked about. Aiklos Shoddy, for anybody who doesn't know the meta of Destiny 1, the second that gun was introduced, shotguns were already really OP in year one. That was the first gun to ever drop with trench barrel, though. And it was full auto on top of that, and it was a monster.
Yeah.
You were melting Nightfall bosses with that gun.
Yeah, I had full auto on mine when I had it drop, and I was like, man, I'm never taking this gun away.
The problem with the Aikilo Shoddy, and what a lot of people hate, or like they're like, oh well, I never experienced it. It had such a bad drop rate from Escalation Protocol. I actually got insanely lucky. My very first time completing Escalation Protocol, it dropped for me.
Yes.
I don't think I took it off all season.
Yeah, I got it. It was my first drop because at that point I was playing a lot on PlayStation because that's where my raid group was, and it was my first drop there. And now that I'm playing on Xbox, I'm like, I can't get it. So I just gonna hope and pray. I'm just gonna hope and pray that I get through, get up to 1060, and we can run Prophecy before the season ends.
It's such a cool, and the boss encounter, I think it's one of the more unique boss encounters. where I mean, like Zulamok and Dulankaru both had their own things in the dungeon. The Kel Echo definitely has its own, and it's just so. It's like the whole encounter is so psychedelic. I really feel like I'm in a '60s movie where like the Beatles are like dropping acid or something in parts of that dungeon. It is that's like the only way I can actually describe it. Like it looks like I'm in a Dr. Seuss book at times.
Yeah.
Doing that, specifically the part leading into the entrance for the boss encounter. It's truly unlike anything else this game has ever done, and I really hope that it's a sign of things to come. Since it's all about like investigating the realm of the Nine, and I don't know what the Nine are doing, but it's weird. It's real weird. Getting that to drop, getting some of the Dido Foundry armor to drop was really cool. I love that there's 2 sets of armor to farm. I'm going to keep boasting about that forever. That makes me want to come back and do these so much more than just. I guess I'm going to do this for my pinnacle drop this week, even though I've done the dungeon so many times. Like there's nothing that kept me coming back to Shattered Throne or to Pit of Heresy unless there was an exotic associated with it. There weren't any cosmetic rewards. There weren't any unique. There's a pulse rifle you can earn from Pit of Heresy, but it's about to be obsolete in 8 weeks. So why would I kill myself to get it?
Right.
If I didn't already have it. Like there's a little incentive for me to keep running that day in or week in and week out unless I want that pinnacle drop.
Yeah.
And I have people who want to run the dungeon every week. I'd personally rather go to a raid at that point. But the dungeon concept is just so cool. Like I know we've talked at length about dungeons already, so I don't want to keep dwelling on it. But Bungie, please God, more of these.
Yeah,
I will take these over half-baked seasonal events like the Vex Offensive. I actually think the Sundial was really cool. I really liked the Sundial and the story behind it. The Vex Offensive was kind of lame after the first 2 times I did it and figured out you could just sit there and infinitely farm ads and the boss would never disappear.
Oh, geez.
It became the best way to just blow through the first 2 encounters and then get to the end. And you could even fail those 2 encounters and get up to the boss and just let the boss keep floating around and kill all the ads as they spawn. It was great. That's all anybody used it for.
Right.
And we won't talk about the Seraph Towers on this podcast. I'm still, every time that I see them in the skybox, I'm still a little upset. But.
Oh, man. What a week. So today speaking of we kind of already got into it, but they're giving you endless rewards for the rest of the summer. But also pyramid ships have appeared everywhere, Josh.
Man, okay. Today's update was bonkers. We all thought it was going to be some little patch. We were told there was a hot fix going live. There was an 8 gig update this afternoon. Okay, I was expecting like 800 megabytes, not 8 gigs, and I was like, oh, well, I might as well go make a sandwich. It's going to be a minute. Upon logging in, you are just bombarded with message after message. Triple infamy all week, triple valor all week, on a non-Iron Banner week. Momentum control is up. Showdown is up, I think. You got to go visit Zavala. There's a new quest line from Zavala, the Exodus quest line, which none of us, those of us who knew it was coming, didn't expect this for another like 5 or 6 weeks. But It's here, folks. It's Bungie Day, so Moments of Triumph are live. A new exotic quest is live. You got the weekly quest. And then on top of all that, there are little pyramid ships flying around on Io. It is terrifying. I'm waiting for one of them to shoot at me. The Doritos have come, as Glad said. It's the public event has now moved from Io to Titan, and it's more frantic because it's in a smaller, more confined zone. You're on platforms for part of it at one time, so you can fall off. It is the weird. There's giant pyramids on every planet that's being sunset now, and there's pyramids on top of them in the director. There's a giant one blocking out the sun on Mercury. You can't see the sun on any of these planets anymore.
Yeah,
it's
that one
blocking them out.
Somebody posted a screenshot on Twitter of the one on Mercury, and I was like, "This is like one of the coolest visuals I think I've seen in a while."
Oh my god! And, of course, guys. Of course. There's lore associated with this quest. I'm so excited. There's lore that's coming. I'm so excited to dive into it with you guys. I did know some of it that was coming, and it's been real hard keeping parts of it to myself for the last couple of weeks. I'm glad that we're all going to get to experience it as a group within the next few weeks, though. I don't know how you're going to unvault some of this stuff, the way that they're angling it, and even the beginning of the lore books that we have makes it really foreboding for some of our beloved planetary vendors that we never go see. I don't know who's going to cry over Sloan over here, but personally, I'm going to be a little upset if we don't save Anna Bay.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do without her.
She'll be in the tower. She'll be in the tower. Right? Please?
Hunter Vanguard, please. Please, that's all I want. Bungie, I want a Vanguard. It's been 2 years.
That's the rumor, though, right? It's either her or Aldrin, right? And I'm pretty sure.
God. Yeah.
I mean,
there's the rumor about Aldrin has been there since we saw him resurrected in the cutscene back during the Black Armory.
Yeah.
Because technically, like he killed Cade. Like it's the Vanguard dare. Like he is the one who gets to take on the mantle. I personally hope it's Anna, just because we all kind of expect either one of them at this point.
Yeah.
There's nobody you can really. I mean, it doesn't fit Shin Malphur. I do suspect him showing up this year, though, with us learning how to harness the darkness.
Yeah.
Mr. I'll put you. He literally told our guardian, "I'll put you down if you harness the dark and can't control it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While at the same time telling us, "Dude, you should totally control the darkness because you can walk the line like the rest of us can't, but you can."
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it on, baby. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But man, the raids though, Corey, the raids. I'm so excited for this. There are 5 raids that are sunset. This was the confirmation of the 5th one that's being sunset. We all kind of suspected it from the wording on Bungie.net, but it had never been overtly confirmed.
Yeah.
Today's update confirms the 4 raids on the Leviathan. So the Leviathan itself, Eater of Worlds, the Spire of Stars, and the Crown of Sorrow will be sunset, along with the Scourge of the Past raid and the EDZ.
Mm-hmm.
That one surprises me a little bit. I think they're just trying to keep it condensed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that one would be it's a Forsaken raid that was not tied to the actual expansion. We're gonna sunset it now instead of next year.
Mm-hmm.
These raids are awesome because now you can go do them as many times as you want in a week and still get rewards. You can't loot the hidden chests more than once, but you can do every other encounter. You can go complete. So if you want to sit there and farm the dogs room, I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but if you want to farm dogs 1 week in Leviathan, you could do that. Do it, wipe your checkpoint, go back in and do it again.
Yeah.
It works just like the Prophecy dungeon. This is how every endgame encounter should work if it has been out for more than a year.
Yeah.
If a raid has been out for more than a year, you should be able to farm it like this.
Yeah.
It's giving everybody a shot to get Anarchy before there's a new way to obtain it this fall, which we don't know how that's going to be. Only that they've said you'll still be able to obtain exotics associated with it.
Yeah.
Not only that, but in the Moments of Triumph seal, there's 5 triumphs relating to the raids that are sunsetting. If you want to earn the seal, you got to do all 5 of those raids this season.
Yep.
But as you complete each one, you are guaranteed the shaders associated with the raid. And in the case of Eater of Worlds, you are guaranteed the exotic Callus Chair emote, in which your guardian springs a callus thrown up and jumps into it with a chalice in his hand. I have wanted that sucker for almost 3 years now, and I've never been able to get people wrangled up to do Eater of Worlds. I'm so excited, and now everybody wants.
Here's the thing: Eater of Worlds is the only raid I've ever run in Destiny 2, so I'm ready to run.
God, Corey, I hate you so much. I want that emote so badly.
I know.
They've got that, and there's also a ghost shell, I believe, from the Leviathan, an exotic shell.
Yeah.
That has a random chance to drop that you can get. And it's just like, oh my god, this is awesome. This is how it should be, especially for shaders. I don't feel like it's unreasonable to be like, hey, you finished the raid. Like most people who do raids are never going to do the raid clear more than once or twice. Like, statistically, you're not going to come in and do it every week. I think that's cool. That's why I like so much how they did Divinity with the Garden of Salvation. If you're only going to run that raid once, you can get Divinity. You're guaranteed it if you just go do the puzzles and you can wrangle your group to do it. You've done the quest prep, everything like that. Like, I'm content with, I want the whole armor set, but I'd be content with not touching Garden again, knowing that I have Divinity.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to help friends out. I'm here to go get the armor set. But man, I got the best thing possible out of that raid already. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. This is how things should be for the end game once it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
There should be cosmetics attached. I mean, the Moments of Triumph seal alone You can earn, not counting buying the raid ring. You get an emblem with that. You can earn 3 emblems. An awesome ghost. It's the Travelers. The Shattered Traveler is the ghost shell for Summer of Heroes, Moments of Triumph, whatever you want to call it. You get a Sparrow, which, as my girlfriend puts it, is not aerodynamic and should not work. I reminded her that I ride around on a jet ski basically in the game.
I still have the Sparrow I'm riding around is the Warmind one, the Rasputin looking one.
Oh, yeah, great Sparrow. Great Sparrow. I love it. I love the Ghost Rider one. I like the wacky Sparrows. And, of course, you can earn your Moments of Triumph shirt. You can earn your seal. You can earn your title. There's so much to do this summer, though, that I really feel like they're trying to be like, okay, listen, we know that last season was really bad. Do you forgive us yet? We know Season of the Worthy was anything but worthy. Like, do you forgive us for that? Do you forgive us for the seasonal model that they were owning up to before Christmas? Like, partway into or just after Christmas, they were owning up to it back in January, saying this is not going to live up. This did not live up to our expectations. Like, they were already done building stuff for arrivals at that point. They said, they usually have stuff finalized about 6 months in advance, and that's why it's so hard to change things based on feedback. They're like, so some of the feedback you just gave us, we can apply to the summer, but we can't get it in the Season of Worthy. And I really feel like between the Umbral Ingrams, between the Pyramid Invasions, the Contact event is awesome. I love doing that thing. I don't want to do it more than a handful of times a week, but I think having quests that tie to it ensures there's always people there. And only having it on one planet at a time also helps. There's lore to discover. There's cosmetics. There's an exotic quest. The exotic quest is, Corey, we're hunting calcified fragments again.
Yes.
I thought we were done with this. I thought we left this behind on the Dreadnought. I'm upset. They are scattered throughout the patrol zones now. You have to find.
Does this mean we're going to get the Touch of Malice again?
This is building up to the new exotic trace rifle, Ruinous Effigy, which I don't quite understand what it does, nor have I really looked into it too much. I just know it's like absurdly powerful. It looks awesome. And I really like trace rifles, so I'm down to play laser tag with PvE enemies. Yeah,
no, I'm down.
I think it's cool. It's going to force you to play Gambit and Reckoning too. You unfortunately have to do the Reckoning.
Yeah, about that.
Okay, it goes fast. Just grin through the pain, Corey.
Hey, you know what? Look, nothing is as bad as Skolas from year one. So,
and I started using a phrase called the loser lap during that. And now anytime I have to take a big swath through a boss arena or through a raid encounter to go res people, that's what I call it, a loser lap. An old friend of mine that I used to do a show with, Chris Kiku Kubiak, for any of you who might know him from the old days, he was taking me and my best friend through Skolas. He's like, oh yeah, I know how to do it. I'm good. He died approximately 20 seconds into the encounter, and the next half hour was a mixture of screaming and laughter of me and my best friend sprinting literally in circles around that stupid arena, which I get triggered every time that I do the Warden Strike now. Yeah. Because I know that arena so well, like the back of my hand, jumping off the top area, sprinting, trying to dodge and everything. This is before invisibility was a thing.
Yeah.
It was horrifying taking pot shots with Mita. Like we had Mita on only to run. Not because it was good to shoot with, but because we needed to run.
Yeah.
It is one of the most bonkers things that you can ever do in the game, and I feel like some of the encounters they're living up to that.
Yeah,
I'm really, really, really excited to see what this trace rifle does, and it's the first of 2 exotics that we have that's coming this summer. We know what the second one is at this point. They're pulling a Kostov on us from Rise of Iron.
Ooh.
For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, in Rise of Iron, if you kept the original auto rifle you started the game with, the white one that you immediately had something better than by the end of that mission, if you still had it in your vault, it automatically turned into an exotic version of that gun, and it was one of the best auto rifles in the game
It was
automatically.
awesome because like you
Yeah.
could switch between like, okay, this is a powerful slow shooting auto rifle, or you could do like it basically became like almost as powerful as the what was the Trials auto rifle at that point.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Or like the prison Soul Stealer's Claw is the one that I used a lot towards the end.
Yeah.
So it kind of, you could switch between the, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
But for the rest of us who didn't have the gun, we had to go do this tedious long quest to get it.
I kept it. It was awesome.
I did not. My best friend did and made sure to rub it in my face because he's nostalgic. So I decided I was not going to have that happen to me again with this game. So I've been saving Traveler's Chosen for 3 years now. And let me tell you, boys, in the sidearm meta, Traveler's Chosen is coming back as an exotic. And I'm really happy. I do not expect them to hand me that exotic, though. They're like, okay, that was a one-trick thing. Everybo's onto us now. They'll just go make new characters and have it handed to them again.
Yeah.
Or pull it from collections. We can't block the only white sidearm from collections. So I think that's all really cool. Corey, what do you think? That like, so you haven't done a lot of the raids. So does this kind of like, I know we were trying to set up a raid night here with Willow and Nerd Generalist and a few other friends of the show. Does this like increase your desire to go do things ones you might have skipped, like Spire or Stars or Eater of Worlds?
The thing is like the raids are my favorite part of the game, like by far. For Destiny 1, from the time from House of Wolves all the way through Rise of Iron and into year 1 of Destiny 2, my friends and I raided every Wednesday night 3 times a night.
Oh my god. Corey, you're a madman.
Dude, we were pulling a hard mode on Kingsfall. We were pulling in under 40 minutes. That's how
I have never done it on hard mode. I've never completed a Destiny 1 raid on hard mode. I was checked out of the game.
The only raid we ever really had trouble with on hard mode was Wrath of the Machine. It was so hard. And also, I guess Crota too, with the old light system, we struggled with a little bit, but that all changed after the new light system was implemented. Which
so you were already wanting to do these, and now you're just like, this is an added incentive. I'm going to get things just handed to me.
Dude, you don't know how many times I've been watching YouTube videos of these raids being like, I wish I had 5 friends who played Destiny.
I'm excited for what this means. I think we were talking a few weeks ago about, like sunsetting gear and transmog, and I was kind of wondering, I was like, man, how are we going to do this? Like, we're going to be blocked off from ever earning some of these sets of armor, and now that you can just go in and farm them, because each raid and raid layer has its own set of armor. I'm like, well, dang, like I don't care about getting the weapons now. I care about trying to get the sets of armor completed, and
yeah. I mean,
I want good old anarchy.
That's really all I want is like the armor sets to just be like, look, I did the raids. I think these armor sets are cool. I think a lot of the armor is cool looking, and I just kind of want it for my collection. I
for sure. I'm a completionist, so
yeah. So I mean, I would like to run them in order, honestly, but I know everybody has their own preference. And
at this point, I think we're just like, we're all gonna do them like. Just where do we start at? And I think for anybody who hasn't done a raid in Destiny 2, the Leviathan is probably the best. I would say Leviathan or Scourge are the best places to start.
Yeah.
And save Crown and Last Wish for last.
Yeah, I feel like Crown is like, just from the videos I watch, I feel like Crown of Sorrow is like the hardest by far in terms of.
Here's the crazy thing about Crown. Like I was talking about this in a Discord chat earlier with a few of our friends, and Crown isn't that difficult until you get to the boss. Like the actual first 3 encounters you can blow through those in a half hour with people doing it for the first time. It's actually pretty simple. But Galran, and I mean, granted, I was running it pretty much at the recommended light last year. You couldn't really get above it at all. It was just an exercise in annoyance, I feel, because you get split off into groups of 2, and like, well, if one of you dies and you don't have a res token, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to waste it there, good luck. If you've got a buff and you got to run it, there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a team wipe. Once you get to the damage phase, you just roast them. Getting to the damage phase of that boss is probably the most annoying outside of Garden of Salvation.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's like any other raid, right? Like you're putting everything you learned through the raid together. There's really no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
The nerf too well did not do it any favors.
Yeah.
But it is still a good raid. I do still really like it. And the implications it has for Savathun are very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm looking really forward to getting into these raids again. I don't want to do Crown a lot. I want to do Crown one time to get my Triumph and get out.
Yeah.
I want my Hunter boots. I want my claws. The Hunter boots are literally claws.
Really? That's cool.
Yes. I need them. I need I need the things coming out of my feet.
Yeah. The thing for me is like I would prefer to start with Eater of Worlds just to get my raid feet back under me, and it's definitely the most familiar to me, obviously, because it's the only one I've done. I've done it 100 times at this point with my old raid group, but I want to.
Right.
I feel like as long as it'll help me get my raid feet back under me. It'll allow me to gel with this new group of people that we're raiding with, right? Like I feel like that's kind of where I would ideally want to start. And then kind of go from there. But, I understand.
And that's why I like the Leviathan so much personally. The very first raid. It's a good intro to anybody who did not raid in Destiny 1 or who is a bit rusty.
Yeah.
And God, Callus is so easy to beat now. We went in there. We actually just did it a couple weeks ago. We took my girlfriend through for the first time. And 5 of us were running Outbreak Perfected with 1 Divinity and a Well. And we had him dead before we were off the second plate in the boss room.
Yeah,
so Outbreak is a monster when you stack those.
I would really like to get Outbreak Prime at some point.
Yeah. I'll take you through Outbreak. You can go meet Trevor the Hall Monitor.
No, I've been through it. I've gotten to the boss phase.
Okay. I didn't know how far you got.
It's such a nightmare in that last room. My friend and I have been trying to 2-man it, and it's just.
No, even at our light level, it's so hard to 2-man that room.
Yeah.
When it was bugged on Heroic, we were able to 2-man it.
Yeah, my friend sold it.
Even that was intensive.
My friend sold it, and he's like, "Yeah, I sold it, and I got it because it was bugged." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah, it was bugged for about 6-7 weeks at the beginning of last season, I believe. And my whole group regrets not finishing the Catalyst during that time. Yeah. We all got about half or 2/3, and we're like, it'll be bugged for a while. They're not going to fix it. Literally the next week, we fixed it.
Yeah.
That and Whisper of the Worm were both pretty broken.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Rating counters. Yeah.
Yeah, Whisper probably easier than Outbreak, I feel like, but... there's like I would like to do all the raids. I would like to get Outbreak perfected, and I would like to get Whisper before this summer ends.
We're gonna make Corey's checklist. We're gonna tune in for a weekly corner of what did we get Corey this week.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be to be fair, yeah, that's gonna be a new segment of the podcast. So be ready, I guess. What is the light level on all the raids this time? Most of them are still 750, right? Like the first two.
Everything outside of Garden of Salvation is 750.
Okay, so it should be relatively.
Right. At this point, it's more of like you're not going to die necessarily from ads unless you just don't control them. It's more about you still have to do the mechanics. Like the mechanics will still kill you quicker than anything else.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's always been the case for at least when I was raiding. Like if you're not on point with the mechanics, you're done.
I mean, the ads are fine. I mean, you can be at the appropriate light level and handle ads pretty easily. Like, we didn't have problems with ads at all during our last Wish run or our Scourge run at all. It was literally just getting the mechanics down.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is when it comes down to the raid. Like, it's for people who love puzzle solving and FPSs.
Yeah.
And merging the two together without a portal gun.
Yeah. Not a portal gun. I feel like, for me, like when we raid, like the mechanics are the part that that's my strong suit, is getting the mechanics down. It's doing the mechanics, and maybe you're not a high enough light level that you need to be at, and the ads are just murdering you. But I mean, if they're all at 750, I think I'm at 1025 right now.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be, especially Leviathan, like just
Well, Leviathan is hilarious. We were just kind of strolling through it. We were all running Recluse, though, with the exception of my girlfriend. So it's like, oh, well, why do we even have primaries on? We're whipping out an SMG for everything.
yeah. So,
That and Yield Swarm of the Raven.
yeah. I just what was I running when we were doing Leviathan? I think I was using Sweet Business the whole time.
Oh my god, that's a recipe for disaster.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
Even year one, that's a recipe for disaster.
No, because like you just ducked. I had the exotic where you just ducked behind your wall and then it like reloaded your auto, and then whoever was running a warlock ran the rift, the power rift. So that's we had 2 warlocks running power rifts and 2 people running titans with the auto rifle refill thing.
Well, now we go in with Well of Radiance, Celestial Nighthawk, and Chaos Reaches.
Yeah, that's fair. I also need to finish some exotic quests because I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm a little behind on some of them, most of them.
And the exotics aren't being capped, so those will be able to be infused forever.
Yeah.
So it definitely behooves you. Like at this point, I've been telling this to people who are trying to get back in after like a year and a half, 2 years. Like, what should I start on? There's so much. And I'm like, if it's not yellow, ignore it. Like, just delete it. Go pick it up later. If it's a weapon quest from Shax or Zavala or somebody, ignore it. Like,
my thing is like I want to finish the exotic quests I have, and then I want to do the raids and get Whisper and Outbreak. And I wanted to find Sleeper, but I feel like that quest is sailing fast.
Sleeper is among the most aggravating quests in the game. It was aggravating in Destiny 1. That's actually how you and I became friends.
Yeah.
Was working on the Sleeper quest together, and in a little Facebook group. It was annoying then. It's somehow more annoying now because you're running around just hunting those stupid nodes on Mars.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about how many resonance stems I went through to get it done. All I know is when I got it, it had been nerfed. It literally got nerfed the day before I got it. So it was no longer useful. And I don't think I've ever used it.
Yeah.
I have unlocked so many ornaments for that gun thanks to Eververse through my Bright Ingrams, and I've just never... I don't think I've ever once touched it, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it is what it is at this point. It is still, for me, it was the sentimentality of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is for me too. Is like I really like the way the gun looks, and I just remember how everybody was like trying to work to get it when we were doing it in Destiny 1. So I mean,
for sure,
that's really like the single reason why I want it. And like at some point, maybe in like the 2nd or 3rd season of next year, they're gonna be like, oh, fusion rifles are sweet again, and everybody's gonna be using it at some point.
Right. It's going to terrorize Gambit once again.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I don't know. I just, there's a lot I want to do. There's a lot I want to complete. And
now we know what kind of timetable we're on. We got about 12 weeks to get this done.
Yeah, it's fine. Because I have, 4 or 5 nights a week to play Destiny. So.
It's become a race in this house of how much can I get done before Paper Mario comes out on the 17th. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna leave Paper Mario to Ed for talking about it. I mean, we all know how much Ed loves Nintendo, so that's gonna be his thing. But I have to at least play one other game besides Destiny a week on stream because I was an idiot and put a Twitter poll up, and now I have to play through the Mass Effect trilogy also. So one day a week.
Should have gone with Wind Waker, man. Should have just ignored everyone else.
I know. I should have, but Mass Effect won by like 11%. So, and I don't really feel like digging out my Wii U, to be 1,000% honest. I could hook up my...
I have a GameCube in that closet back there.
I have a GameCube downstairs too. It'd probably be way easier to hook up, but Wind Waker HD has that HD,
so crisp. It's so crispy.
Where's our doc? What else were we going to talk about today?
I think the only big thing left is the rewards.
Yeah. So
no, we did rewards. We actually did that the evacuation quest we already talked about. what's this Guardian editor is what I want to. I haven't had a chance to read the piece that you linked us.
It's just if you have an ugly Guardian, they're going to allow you to fix it, apparently.
Oh, well, at this point, I have the option to always leave the helmet on. It only ever comes off in certain cutscenes, and I get annoyed when it does. But I play as an Exo, so it already looks like a helmet.
Yeah,
there's not a huge difference.
I mean, all my characters look the same because I've literally only found one look that is worth using. I play as an awoken female. And
I can't believe going into Destiny 2 there was not an option to update your Guardian or new options for it, and that somehow 3 years in we're still asking these same questions.
Right.
Just let me update it. Like, I have a chunk. There's a chunk of my Exo's head missing. I'd like to put it back. It's not as appealing as it was to me when I started this game in 2014.
Yeah.
6 years ago, I made this Guardian. I've gone through some life changes in the last 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Cool.
Also, I had to change the way I had to start with new Guardians in Destiny 2 because the way I liked my Guardian looking in Destiny 1, somehow they changed some things in the editor just slightly to where my cool Guardian looked like they had got some Botox and lip injections. So I was like,
God.
Yeah.
Not okay.
No, not okay. Not even a little bit. Yeah, but this was quite a show, I think. This is being called.
We have a lore corner.
We do have. Wait, we have lore? You want to talk about lore?
More lore? I actually did prepare a little bit of a piece.
Yeah, let's do it. I like lore.
Lore corner. I don't want to read actual lore pieces. I'm going to kind of give a summary, I guess, of kind of where we're at. I was talking to Corey about this in the chat offline, and what I kind of want to do with these segments is, sure, I want to tackle things like the Trials lore because that's incredibly relevant to what's going to be happening, but I kind of want to do a Where Are They Now series on some of our key NPCs that are going to play into this upcoming season. What do we know about their whereabouts, where they're at? Some of the people I want to cover are going to be good old Varix from the Prison of Elders.
Yeah, where's Varix?
No, Varix is next week. We're talking about Varix next week. I have a lot to say about Varix, and I'm really excited.
Varix is if I had to make a list of top 5 NPCs, Varix is in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, we're going to talk Varix. We're going to talk Uldren. We're going to talk. We might talk a little bit of Marasov. We're going to cover some Shin Malfor. That may have to be 2 episodes because there's a lot to talk about with him.
Hey, that's fine. We can do it. I kind of want to.
We're going to cover my favorite crawly dude, Mithrax. We're going to talk about him too. Really excited to talk about Mithrax with you guys. That's one of my favorite characters who's barely been in the game but has so much lore. I'm so excited to talk about him.
I love the characters that have all this lore but aren't even really a part of the game.
So we're going to talk about one of those today.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Aramis. Aramis is currently, the way that they're positioning the trailers for Beyond Light, she is the fallen captain that you see playing with the darkness powers in the trailer. They're setting her up to be the main antagonist. I do feel like that is a big red herring. I do think that there is something more sinister than just Aramis there. But Aramis actually has an interesting history within this universe. She was formerly of the House of Devils. The House of Devils was a fallen house that we were fighting in the Cosmodrome in Destiny 1. They were left broken and battered the last time we saw them right before the events of Destiny 2. And we know that to an extent, Uldren was trying to unite some of the fallen houses. And we know that's currently what Varix is out doing. Varix is out trying to unify what's left of the fallen. At least that's the last we heard of him about 2 years ago. To talk about Aramis, we do have to cover a tiny bit of Varix. The prison break that resulted in the death of Cade 6 was actually staged by Varix. Varix had grown a bit disillusioned with the way that the Queen had ordered things to be run, answering to Petra. He was kind of torn between his duty to Mara and his duty to the Fallen, because Varix is ancient. Varix is actually he's like the great grandfather of the current Fallen. He is one of the very few. He's the only one that we've ever encountered who remembers fallen society before the Traveler abandoned them in the Great Whirlwind. and they were forced to become scavengers. He actually remembers the original fallen society, and that's what he wants to rebuild. He wants them to be a noble race again. He doesn't actually hate humanity. He almost resents us in a way because we were blessed with the Traveler's power, but not to the point where he wants to kill us like other fallen. He wants to unite the fallen and make them a noble race again. So him, Aramis, and Mithrax all kind of intertwine in a way. Aramis was one of the prisoners of the Awoken. She was previously a ship captain. If it was a skiff or of a ketch, we don't really know. We presume that it's a ketch. She was broken out when Varix opened all the cells in the Prison of Elders and people escaped. She was one of the ones who fled. She fled during the death of Cade 6, and she has actually spent the better part of the last 2 years unifying what's left of the Fallen in the system. I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have a lot of strikes where we're taking out Fallen in Destiny 2. Yeah, they're scattered on a few planets here and there, but other than Earth, they don't really have a giant foothold anymore. And a lot of that's because we literally, we fought them on every planet, I think, in Destiny 1. We pretty much killed them all, is the lore reason. We've hunted them so much that they're not approaching extinction, but they're one step above extinction right now. They're definitely an endangered species. Aramis is trying to unite everyone under her banner to make a last-ditch attempt to basically kill the Guardians. Our first mention of her in the lore, however, comes from Joker's Wild, comes from the Outbreak missions themselves. She was behind the heist on the old tower to steal Siva and steal Outbreak when we team up with Mithrax to stop her. She is not the captain that we are fighting at the end. That is actually, I believe that is Sivkis. I think it's Sivkis that we fight. I don't remember. It's been quite a long time since I did this mission. That you fight and you thwart her plans, and she's like, oh, well, forget this. We do know that she has abandoned the House of Devil's Banner. As of where we are now, we kind of know that right around now. And she's going to make her first on-screen appearance here in the fall. She has united the devils, what's left of the House of Wolves. Yes, they're still kicking, and the House of Dusk. And she's trying to utilize the Guardians. This does go in direct conflict with the original Fallen ideals and those of Varix, which is not to use those powers. She's harnessing what destroyed their civilization. And she really is out to get revenge on the city and on the Travelers Chosen, because she sees the Travelers as having abandoned them. But she's taking it in a different way than Mithrax and Varix are. Mithrax wants to unify and has started winning some Fallen to his faction, the House of Light, which we'll get more into here in a few weeks. All you need to know right now is Aramis, bad. Using darkness powers, very bad for us. Not looking forward to that at all. I'm kind of feeling like that boss battle may be a Gaul 2.0 with her using stasis powers.
Oh, geez.
But that's what you need to know about Aramis. We don't really know a lot about her. We have a little bit of a hint from the ghost shell that you get for pre-ordering Beyond Light. There's some lore attached to it, and it talks about VIPs, and there's certain numbers. VIP 2029 is mentioned, and that is Aramis's number. Just like we covered VIP numbers for the Guardian and for Oryx a couple weeks ago. She is 2029. 3 of her lieutenants, they're not named, but they're given numbers up in the 5,000s. So they're going to be like strike bosses or something, or I don't know, campaign bosses. The one that's very interesting is, I believe number 1011 is mentioned, and that's Varix. And the advanced scouts that are reporting this back to the Vanguard say they don't know if he's there willingly or if he's being held as a hostage. So I'm going to leave it there. We're going to pick up with Varix next week and figure out, is he there willingly or is he a hostage? We're going to kind of examine Varix's story and the lore that we learned in Forsaken and little bits that we've had trickle out since then in the last 2 years, and kind of figure out, is Varix going to be on our side, or is there maybe something more sinister going on? Has Varix finally been broken, essentially? Or are we going to see another beloved NPC die?
Please no. Varix is the man. I love Varix. Please don't.
Cade 6 was the man too, and we all saw how that turned out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Nathan Fillion was too expensive.
Too expensive.
But that's been our lore corner for this week. We do have a lot coming up, especially the evacuation lore we'll bring up. I kind of want to wait for the second event of that to happen sometime in August, I think is when that's hitting.
Yeah.
I want to address it all at once. We'll probably have to address it over a couple weeks because there are multiple entries for each of our planetary NPCs. The Trials lore, of course, which after Varix and Mithrax, that's probably where we're going to get to next. That's pretty important for us to understand. And by now, a lot of people have started unlocking it.
Yeah.
So really, really excited.
Yeah. Man, I love listening to you talk about the lore.
We might even have to talk a little bit of Pit of Heresy. There is some stuff behind Zulamok that ties back to Corey and I's favorite raid from Destiny 1.
Yes.
It ties back to good old Kingsfall.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lore Corner. By the way, if you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube, Lore Corner is going to be broken out as a separate video as well. It'll still be part of the podcast video, but we're going to make a Lore Corner kind of subsection. So just because it's interesting, and I like that. So, but yeah, is there anything else we want to talk about before we kind of get out of here?
No, I think that's about all. I mean, this is a jam-packed episode. There was a lot that happened today. We pushed it to today because of some personal stuff happening yesterday, and kind of glad that we did because it would have been just as overwhelming to try and cover it next week. When we have our first raid report from Corey.
Right.
It would have been a little bit too much to cover all at once, I think. So.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this raid. Honestly, it's going to be, man, it's going to be so much fun. So, but anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and hanging out with us during Tower Casuals. I know the beginning of this episode was not fun, and it's something that we had to address. And then Destiny is again the thing that keeps us here. So yeah, you can catch Tower Casuals on your podcast service of choice: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, whatever you listen to us on. You can catch it every Thursday now. It just gives me a little bit more time to edit the show and do some breakouts if we feel like we have some to do. So you can catch it on Thursdays now. You can also catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/BossRushGames and BossRushGames.com. You can catch it live right here on my Twitch channel every Monday moving forward, unless scheduling conflicts. Josh, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter as always at Josh_Finn. That's Finn with 2 N's.
2 N's, guys. 2 N's.
2 N's. Remember the double N.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at I am CoreyNHD. You can also find me right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/CoreyNHD, where I stream Destiny and apparently Mass Effect for the next year and a half because I have to play all 3 games. Thanks, voters. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week, we love you.